This is absolutely embarrassing from the Boston Bruins organization as the team has continued to up the prices of just about everything after this season, and the excuses that Charlie Jacobs has come up for are absolutely ridiculous. You're going to want to stick around, hear what we have to say about this and what Charlie Jacobs is saying, because I want to get your reaction. Honestly, it's the best way to put it. But before we jump into this video here, be sure to hit the sub button if you haven't already. We know that just over 75% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. So if you're looking for a spot for all of your Boston Bruins news this offseason, we have all of it coming right here on the channel. You won't want to miss it. So much stuff to cover, and we're going to have it all as it happens. But without any further ado, let's get into this first with our first screenshot here, going over what Charlie Jacobs cites as the big issue for the upping of prices of season tickets. So we're going to get into the percentages and whatnot here in a little bit, but Jacobs cites security, parking attendance, and other expenses as reasons for ticket price increases. It's all going back into the hockey club. We've made our decision. We're not going to be rescinding the ticket price increase. Now, very bold, very, a bold way to kind of put this out there to kind of, once again, reiterate, but also say, hey, we're not going to change anything. We're not going to do it. We're doing our own way, and we're just going to make you pay more. Kind of crazy when it does come down to the way that Charlie Jacobs is putting this. Not exactly the way I would have done it, but that's probably not why I'm the CEO of the Boston Bruins. But obviously, this is a big hit to fans, to, just about everybody involved with the Boston Bruins, someone who go watch games, watch buy merchandise, everything. All these types of price increases after a season like this. And now, obviously, Charlie Jacobs does not care about the increase of ticket prices when it comes to the team's performance. He's looking for the money, and that's something that I think every Boston Bruins fan has, really come to terms with now. Is it the thing we want? Absolutely not, but that is certainly the case when it comes to Charlie Jacobs. We're going to have some quotes here from him in a bit, kind of going over the stuff in the press conferences. Really makes us question this increase in ticket prices and why, after this season, after a season like this, you're upping the ticket prices as the team has gotten quite a bit worse at the end of the day. But Charlie Jacobs really just had a big discussion about this. That was a lot of his part in this press conference, of course, with Don Sweeney and Cam Neely both talking a lot about the team, and Charlie Jacobs really is reiterating his confidence in those two, as well as, the monetary side of things. And Michael Sullivan, I think, put it the best way here. He says, yeah, this has been the ugliest part of the whole thing regarding the last screenshot, saying that, people working for the Bruins are the reasons that ticket prices are going up. It really puts the, the blame on them almost, and indirectly, that's what at least Charlie Jacobs is trying to do it. We know that's not the case. We know that the Bruins just want more money, but games are already pricey, and keep driving up the prices seems fair. Very, popular response by Michael Sullivan. Got a lot of positive reaction to this, and I think it really sums up the way that just about everybody regarding the Bruins season tickets and everybody who's going to watch these games really feels about the whole scenario. Now, the other first quote here, a little bit from Charlie Jacobs regarding the team and regarding the staff that was with him on the stage, being Cam Neely and Don Sweeney. He says, I'm proud to sit alongside these two gentlemen because I know we've got the right people in the right seats on the bus to bring this franchise back to glory. And that's what he had to say once again about Cam Neely, Don Sweeney, and being able to put this alongside, the way that they're trying to get the team better. Charlie Jacobs has reiterated that this team is going to trying to get back to their glory days, back to, and the glory days literally being 2 to 3 years ago, where this team was in the playoffs every year, putting up records on points, and, just being the best team in the league, for years, and putting that back, trying to get back to that area with the prices that they're working at. And, it really just makes the fans feel insulted and makes us feel that, they care more about money than the team. And I feel like that's what a lot of us think. And I feel like that's what a lot of us are really taking into consideration and admitting at this point when we want this team to get better. Now, I think when it comes to hockey, things should be about as cheap as possible. And obviously, I don't want to say that, about everything, players definitely earn their contracts when it comes to advertising and stuff like that, but when it does come down to being able to watch games, people may come to watch one game, and we see this is a big problem in the NBA, is teams are sitting their superstars. People may only have one game in their lifetime to come to, and it's that game where their favorite player is sitting out. Things like that are not as big of a problem in the NHL, but when you drive ticket prices up, it makes that more of an issue when it comes down to people being able to attend games. So, Charlie Jacobs definitely is not making the right decision for the fan, but for his wallet, it definitely seems like the right decision, at least from his standpoint. Now, I wanted to pull up this. This is the exact kind of increase that we're seeing. Bruins season ticket holders will be looking at a blended price increase of 4% across all levels for the 25-26 season. Currently, season ticket holders will begin receiving renewal information in the coming days. For comparison, the ticket hike for 2024-25 season was 9%. According to the team, season ticket holders will receive a 40% discount compared to expected single-game box office prices. Now, regardless, of course, season tickets, you're going to up those prices the way that Charlie Jacobs has, but even the single-game ticket prices increasing and stuff like that, just not the way that this Bruins team should at least operate this right now. The organization, not so much on the team. It's really the whole upper staff that we don't really hear about. Charlie Jacobs and his accomplices for this type of thing. But once again, it really just does suck to see for people who have never been to a Bruins game, for people who've never been to an NHL game, let alone. And upping these prices really makes that even more unattainable for quite a bit of people. And I want to kind of pull this up as well, because when we're looking at the quote that Charlie Jacobs had with the possibility of, Cam Neely, Don Sweeney being those guys, this is what Don Sweeney's status is for the Bruins contract moving forward, coming from Cam Neely, and he enters limbo in the final year. He says that he hasn't made a decision on Sweeney beyond this point in the upcoming season. And kind of going back to our previous videos when it talks about this press conference, they really have not seemed to be aligned at all. Charlie Jacobs, Don Sweeney, Cam Neely don't seem to have the same ideas going throughout this press conference, throughout the the offseason, going into the seasons seasons coming up, that they don't have the same thoughts going forward. And it really makes me a bit concerned about how this Bruins team is trying to translate back to those glory days that Charlie Jacobs had spoken about. And, you need everybody on the same page here on these instances, and being from upping the ticket prices to, people not agreeing with that, to the team not knowing what they're going to be doing, and stuff like that really just puts us in a whole bunch of issues watching from the sidelines, knowing that there's not much we can do about it because Charlie Jacobs hasn't allowed for people to be able to have an input about this change for the Bruins, and really said this is the wrong idea, as he said that he's not going to be rescinding that idea. But more quotes here from Charlie Jacobs from, the whole press conference idea. He says, ticket pricing is a sensitive subject. I'm aware of that. Things cost more. I expect that you probably pay a higher electrical bill than you did last year. I know that we, for instance, pay more for opening the building, for security, for ushers, for concession workers, for parking attendants, everything. Now, for the average viewer of this, I'm sure that majority of us are just Boston Bruins fans, living normal lives. When you compare the Boston Bruins, who have quite a bit of money, let's not kind of push that to the side, comparing that to me, you, someone you may know, anybody else, family members, paying an electrical bill, don't really add up to me. Not really what I think I would say if I were trying to get to the right side of a Bruins community who are, I will frankly say outraged about the up in ticket prices when it does come down to Boston Bruins games, and it really just isn't the way I would handle that. I don't think that a lot of people really liked that idea there from Charlie Jacobs, but we do have one more quote here from him on this side of things. It says, people deserve a raise and an increase. Likewise, we increase our ticket prices as expenses go. I mentioned this before. Every dollar we bring in, 50% goes to the players. We've made our decision. We've raised our ticket prices, and no, we will be not rescinding that. And once again, another expanded quote here, and I completely agree with the beginning. You want your guys, you want the people working for you, you want the staff, you want everybody to be getting paid more. Absolutely. But, not the way that I probably would have done it. There's definitely things that could have been done, definitely things that could have been better, and it could have been planned out better and emphasized to the public better. And I think that's something that Charlie Jacobs really needs to get better on. So let me know what you think about all of these kind of quotes here that we've seen from Charlie Jacobs here today. And one final screenshot before we finish this video off. Charlie Jacobs says he is disappointed and embarrassed by the season, and says that, again, there is a high level of accountability. Also reiterates his support for Neely and Sweeney, saying they turned a non-playoff team into a contender before and thinks he will do it again. So, I've had that exact same opinion at the bottom there. I hope that they can turn this into a playoff team. The offseason will be a big one. The trade deadline was already a good one, and we're going to have to see what comes out of the draft as well. And I trust these guys. Maybe it may seem a bit weird, and comparing to where I was in the middle of the season compared to after the trade deadline compared to now, much different. And I think that they can. Will they? I think is another question. So let me know what you think about all of this news here in the comments below. But that's all I got in this video. If you did enjoy it, give it a like, hit the sub button as well. But I'm signing out. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.